I've done work with a handful of different projects across the space, most recently actually doing work with Zcash around driving adoption of cryptocurrency and, of course, Zcash specifically in emerging markets. I first came into this space through the lens of, wow, this is a new mechanism that suddenly exists for people in struggling economies that have problematic monetary policies, that are maybe struggling with hyperinflation, or that have capital controls in place, where people, for whatever reason, don't have control of their own money and their own finances. Suddenly we have this mechanism whereby people can control it and can have an alternate form of diversification, an alternate means of payment, an alternate way to get money offshore if that's what they need to do, and so on. And something I've struggled with over the last year or so is it feels like we've gotten so far away from that, what I viewed as kind of the initial and in many ways ultimate use case for this technology, cryptocurrency. And I can't tell you how many panels at conferences either I've sat on myself or listened to people sit on in Silicon Valley or in the United States, in London, in the Western world, and said, well, for people like us in the Western world, we don't really need Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. We have sound institutions for the most part. We have a sound monetary system. But for people in a country like Venezuela that's suffering from hyperinflation, that's had these problematic policies in place for years, that's where it's really needed. And then, you say this on the panel and then you kind of go about your merry way for the rest of the day and have some interesting conversations about the technology and innovations going on, at all levels of the tech stack. But you don't really do anything about that ultimate use case that we all kind of agree upon, that we've all just identified. And this is a frustration I've had for some time. This is a frustration that I know Zuko has had for some time as well, that I wound up having some discussions with him about that. And he and I finally got together and said, you know what, let's actually try and do something here. And as we've embarked upon this, what we've found is actually there are so many people in the space who are trying to do something about it through all of these sort of disperse and very important efforts, be it through RTM, be it through some of the work that's going on the ground in Venezuela of efforts to educate people about cryptocurrency, about privacy, be it through some of the work that's going on in some of the border cities to onboard merchants, border cities around Venezuela. So there is a lot going on, and that's really heartening to learn about. And I'm really excited to see where we can go in terms of being able to support those missions and causes and projects. I think that something surprising to me was that so many of these efforts are going on in, ironically perhaps, a bit of a decentralized fashion, kind of unaware of each other or, not yet really collaborating. And, that makes sense in many ways because for some of these projects, it's still early days. And the joke was kind of made at the beginning of this meeting, this session that we had, of it's great to come together and sort of centralize some of these efforts and gain some of the efficiency that centralization can bring. And it's not often that you'll find me saying that, particularly at a cryptocurrency conference. But I think that that's certainly true of these dispersed efforts.